Okay, so the dumpling dough itself is literally just 3 ingredients: flour, salt, and water. I like to add actually a tiny bit of baking powder just to help them be like lighter, but you don't need it. So it's 250 grams of flour, a little bit of salt. I'm just adding a pinch of baking powder. This is not traditionally in dumpling dough, but here we are. Also, if you want to go ahead and buy dumpling dough, please do that. I just really like making my own because it's so quick. You know, for me, I've done it so often now where I'm like, I'd rather just do this and save the money and make them from scratch. And then to this, just 125 mils of water. So about 2 cups of flour and about half a cup of water is the recipe. Ooh, it's so nice and soft. I used warm water, so. And you don't want the dough to be too wet and sticky because that's going to make it incredibly hard to roll. So I've put my dough onto a clean surface and I'm just going to knead it until it comes together fully. You're going to have to knead this for like 5 minutes. You want it to be a nice smooth dough. Form a cute little dough ball. And then I'm just going to let this sit with a moist cloth over it for like 10-15 minutes. You just let it rest while you make our filling. So to make the spinach and feta filling, I've got some frozen spinach here. And I'm going to just let it defrost. All I want to do is strain it. I want to actually keep the spinach liquid because I'm going to steam the dumplings in like a chicken stock. And I'm thinking I will just add the chicken stock cube to the spinach liquid. And then it'll be like a vegetable chicken stock, you know? And the dumplings might go green, which is pretty cool. So we don't want a watery filling. So I'm just going to squeeze as much of the liquid out of the spinach as I can. Pop it into a bowl. I'm just going to put 2 chicken stock cubes into my spinach water. So in the filling itself, I've got the spinach now. I've got some salt, some pepper. Coming. Shame, one of my neighbors came asking if I had any like old clothes or anything. Luckily we do have. I had a black bag full of like shoes and clothes and gym clothes and whatnot. So just gave her that quickly. So that saved me a trip to town. I'm going to add some of the cream cheese, probably about half of it. And then to this, I'm just going to add some crumbled feta. So usually this recipe makes, I think it's like 16, 18 dumplings. Depending on how big you make them, you can probably get like anywhere between 15 and 20 dumplings. Spinach and feta filling already. Just going to give it a taste. I portioned out all of the dough I just rolled it into a cylinder and cut it up into 18 pieces because we're going to roll them out like this, just as thin as we can. Use a little bit of flour to help your surface be non-stick, but also not so much flour that your dumplings end up dry. So you can see the dough's got a nice like stretch to it. It's not gonna break apart on you. And then I just take a cookie cutter. This one is 98 millimeters, if that means anything to anyone. And there's our little dumpling wrapper. So we're just gonna make a bunch of these and then we're gonna fold them, and make dumplings. You can keep all of your offcuts. They're gonna be a little bit tougher, obviously, than the soft, fresh dough, but you can roll it up, make flatbreads with it. You can make more dumplings with it. It's just a little bit harder to roll out. So all we're gonna do is place the dumpling wrapper in our hand. I like to just paint around the edges with a bit of water. This just helps them seal. And then I'm just going to place a little bit of dumpling filling on the inside. You don't want them to be too stuffed so that they're hard to fold. Rather just put in less filling and make more dumplings. So how I usually do them, I'm going to show you that first, is make a little half moon. So I pinch it at both sides, squeeze it all the way to the end. Try and squeeze out some of the air as you go, but I just squeeze it all the way around. Once I've sealed it all the way around the edges, I just go in and fold it like a calzone. Just folding the dough over onto itself all the way to the end. And that's usually how I make my little pot sticker dumplings. I do want to try a new way of folding today though. So let me grab a new wrapper, paint it all the way around the edges. I watched a video on how to do this, but I don't really know. So they pinched on one side and then they just carried on, they kind of just like carried on pinching all the way around. I mean, it's kind of working. Wait, I'm kind of doing it. This is the first time I'm doing this. Sorry, I'm like amazed. This is so cute. Okay, it's, oh, okay. Okay, not so cute. It was cute. I don't really know. I'm gonna try again. I am racing against ESCOM and load shedding right now, so I think I'm gonna make them the way I normally do for now, and then later I will play around with different folding methods. I need to hurry up a little bit here. Okay, so I've got all 8 of my lunch dumplings all folded up. One of them has a tiny little hole in it, but it's fine. We just patch her up like that and she's perfectly in. I heated up the spinach water with the chicken stock cube just to help it dissolve, so our stock is ready to go in. Just put them into the hot oil, and I put it around the edges so that they can sit in the oil in the pan, and we're gonna just let them brown. Okay, these are browning beautifully, so I'm just gonna flip them all over. That's what you want, that beautiful golden on each one. Just gonna flip each one over. Now that they're nice and golden on both sides, I'm gonna just add some of my spinach chicken stock. I don't really have a lid big enough for this pan, but I'm gonna just push them all towards the middle and pop on my lid like that and help them steam a little bit. Now this doesn't take very long. They cook very, very quickly, so it'll take about 5 minutes. Okay, so those dumplings are steaming away. I've turned the pan off and I'm just letting them do their thing. Now I'm going to quickly make a little dipping sauce. You can have them plain if you want to. I just want to do a little dipping sauce with some soy sauce, some sesame oil, some salt, some pepper, some sriracha for a tiny bit of spice, some sugar or sugar alternative for a bit of sweetness, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of ginger, or quite a bit of ginger. I like ginger quite a lot. I don't have lemon juice, so I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar, but it is delicious with lemon juice. And then I'm just going to give this a good stir, and that's going to be our dipping sauce. Okay, all of the stock has completely evaporated and soaked into our dumplings. They did go kind of green because I used the spinach, you know, the spinach water in the stock, which is expected. I think it's really cute. And there we have it, some homemade spinach and feta dumplings with a bit of a dipping sauce. I'm going to go right in. I'm going to try one plain first on its own. Oh, that's exactly what I felt like. And then in the dipping sauce. This is the one that didn't fold too well, but I promise you he's going to be just as delicious as the others. Yeah. I'm so happy I made this. Definitely try it out. It's not the most technical thing in the world. It does just take a bit of time and love. One day I will attempt to make soup dumplings. Today's not that day, but one day is one day.